Vice Govinda Singh, 1984, Gov Love 84, RO of OSNST Limited, and I just wanted to do a blog regarding academic qualifications. I'm academically unqualified at the university level. My education goes, the furthest it goes is GCSE, Math, Science and English and Art. I went to Richmond Adult Community College to redo my GCSEs when I was about 31 years old, and I did well, and I also I did a City and Guilds bookkeeping level 1, level 2 and a Sage computer accounts. Just got a few certificates in that. Other than that, I don't have a degree. I'm not academically qualified. So for someone like me who's 37 years old, who doesn't have a degree, to talk about worldly affairs, politics, history and science, natural selection, evolution, social Darwinism, it's not very popular amongst those who are academically qualified, and it's not like, and I'm not surprised, it's not like I think they're being out of order. It's a reasonable, it's reasonable. It's not shocking to why they are unhappy, because you need to think the process into becoming academically qualified is you start from your GCSEs, AS levels, A levels, go into university, you do a degree, and then you do a master's degree, and there's so much work that goes into it. The studying, the coursework, the seminars, the lectures, and one of the most important things, the debt. You know, the financial debt students go into to earn a degree in Britain is so much. Some people are in 20 grand debt, 30, 40, 60 grand. And so imagine you've done all that hard work, you pass your degree, you get your degree, you're going to get a job, you're being paid and you're earning the income, clearing your debt, and then you've got someone who's unqualified, who hasn't been university, hasn't been for the whole process of the lectures and the coursework and the seminars and the amount of coursework and the intensive work that goes into preparing to get a degree, and hasn't done none of that and hasn't got into the same debt as that, but they have these opinions regarding worldly affairs, politics, geography, history, science and politics, and it can be like, it's not like I don't find it shocking. I get it. I don't know how to put it into words, but I just get the annoyance. So this is how I feel, but I think it's also a bit unfair. Not everyone had a smooth journey to be able to complete adult education. This is where I stand on it. This is my final opinion on it. I feel whether academically unqualified or qualified, every human being on this planet should have the freedom to be able to express themselves and have the freedom to form an opinion regarding any topic, whether it's science, politics or history, regardless of whether they've got a degree or not, and they should have a platform where they can share and express their opinion and have the dignity to be listened to, whether they've got a degree or not. So if I am unqualified and I have an opinion regarding all these issues that I post about in my vlogs, if I was to take a shortcut and gain employment and get hired because someone sees my vlogs and is like, I'll hire him, I'll give him a job in my company, and then I go on to get a 70k, 150k salary before someone who's put in the work, gone to university, done all the work, got into debt to get a degree, and they get pushed to the sideline for someone like me, I think that's unfair. I think that's not right. So this is where I stand with it. There's people who've fled war zones, who've come to Britain and have come to Europe, who once they're in a stable situation, a stable environment, have got their heads down into the books, went to adult education, went to university and did the studying, and they've gone and got a degree, and they've gone and got a very high ranking, high profile job. So we're from a society in Indian culture where they don't care about sob stories. There's whether you've had a broken home, whether you've fled a war zone, when it's not possible to do your studies, fair enough, but once you've settled down into a stable environment, they'll expect everyone to sit the exam, regardless of what your previous circumstances may have been. Once you've reached stability and a stable environment, everyone has to attend the lectures, attend the seminars, do the coursework, do the revision, and all sit the same exam. That's what they expect. So the way I look at it is, if I want to be paid for my opinions and my views and my opinions on natural selection, science and history and politics, I too will have to sit that exam in order to gain employment. But I'm not seeking to gain employment. I don't want to be employed. I don't want to work amongst people like that. I'm happy with the simple life I live as a retail assistant, even though I have skills and abilities and intellect that is very intelligent. I'd rather just remain in the simplicity of life. I'm too tired to sit a degree. If I wasn't tired and I didn't have this tired feeling because of my medication, I would go to adult education and I would pursue a degree. I would do it just to say I can do this, I know I can do this, but I'm just too tired. So I'm unqualified at a degree level. So I cannot be paid a 70k salary, 150k salary, 250k salary because I have not sat the exam. If I would like to get paid for my intellect and my intelligence, I would have to sit the exam. I'd have to go through the academic process, return to adult education, do an access course for a few years, then choose a degree, go on to do a degree. If I'm seeking to be paid for my intellect at a very high salary. But I'm not intending on doing that. But if I was, I couldn't just go through the shortcut door and get 150k salary because of my intelligence. I'll have to sit the exam. So I'm not just surprised some people find it annoying, but I think it's unfair on people who had learning difficulties, dyslexia, learning support, who have views and opinions on all worldly things and all types of topics, but they're disregarded as having no value or worth just because they don't have a degree. I think that's a bit shallow. Whether you take on board or agree with what they say is another thing, but to think that they don't have a right to express themselves on certain topics or issues because they don't have a degree, I think is unfair. But this is how it is. When Indian people go to their relatives at the temple or they speak to people, they'll ask you, what's your children doing? What are they studying? How well are they doing? And it's not like an Indian parent's going to stand up and say, my son's a rapper. He's an entertainer, he's a musician, he's a sportsman. Unless your parents are pushy parents and believe in your exceptional sporting talent, they're not going to push you to do sports or entertainment. They're going to want you to do business, medicine, accounts. They'll push you towards that sort of area. So it's not like you could say something Indian parents are proud of, say my son's an MC, he's a poet, he's a musician. Unless you're exceptional and they believe in your talent. And it's like, what can I say? Because education is the foremost, most important thing in Indian households and African households. I think if you look at Africans, not people from the Caribbean or the United States, I'm talking Africans from Africa, their no-nonsense attitude towards education is just like in India, and it's for the same reasons, because there's still people who've got chalkboards in Africa and chalkboards in India who have very little resources, and they know that if they get their education, it's their freedom ticket. So they don't waste it, be disruptive, and they're very obedient and respectful students, and they won't waste away opportunities the way some of us who've taken it easy in Europe or America throw away education opportunities because we're more preoccupied with what a gangster rapper has to say and takes on a gangster rapper's opinion of how to live our lives and throw our lives around down the drain. There's people, they'll trade places and make most of the education opportunities and the concessions that we have in these parts of the world. So education is the most important thing in the part of the world where I'm from, and they see, this is the thing I think is wrong about some Indian parents. Just because you're not qualified does not mean you're a failed person. You may not be academically qualified, but it doesn't mean you're an unsuccessful human being. You can be a very compassionate human being, a very loving, a very caring, a very kind human being who just does a trade. You might be a bricklayer, you might be a retail assistant, you might be a taxi driver, you might be a bus driver, a tube driver. You might not be academically qualified in a degree level, but it doesn't mean you're a failed person, that you can't introduce your son at a wedding or a temple gathering or a relative gathering and say, this is my son, so what does he do? He's a nice man, he's a good man, he's a very funny man, he's a very good-hearted person. You know, it's not something that people should judge people and look down on people just because they're not doing a profession or a qualification that people think is worthy of getting respect for. And this is another thing I want to say. Academic qualifications are qualifications to get a comfortable job, a big salary, and in this material world, in this material life. But they're not qualifications to obtain moksha of salvation or entry into the many celestial dimensions of the heavenly abodes and the heavenly celestial heavens. That's based on your karma, your nature as a human being. Were you compassionate? Were you good? Were you kind? And being academically qualified and earning a lot of money, but being a caste supremacist, a Jat supremacist, and being horrible and shallow-minded to people who are of different professions or different financial brackets than yourself, that's not the sort of nature that can get to the divine divinity. I'll tell you that now. How do I know this? I don't know, I'm just speculating. So that's just what I wanted to say. So I'm unqualified. I cannot be paid for my intelligence, even though it's very, very intelligent, unless I sit the exam. If I was to go and get a job for a corporation and get 150k salary just for communications without being academically qualified, that's unfair on people who've got into debt trying to get a degree, who've done all the coursework, who've done the hard work. It should go to the person who got the degree, who got the pass, who sat the exam. So if I want that job, I have, in base like this, I should be entitled to have my views and opinions regarding politics, history and science. But if I want to get paid for my views and opinions on politics and history and science, I have to go to university and I have to sit the exam. So it's like this. I don't want to go to university because I'm too tired, but if I wasn't tired, I'd be pursuing a degree. And another thing I want to say is, I might not be qualified or academically qualified or in a position to be paid because I haven't got the degree, but let's just say I know I could find a wife who is qualified, who will love me for who I am and the way I am, and respect me and take into consideration the rocky road journey I've experienced. And yeah, I just got to find my wife. It's as simple as that. So that's God love it. I over us in this too. Peace.